believe. Morning all. Thank you, darling. Right, it's breakfast time and we've got to get cracking. I've got to go out and buy some paint today from my local paint shop for the alloy frame that we're going to be going crazy on this weekend to get done. So, let's go. See ya. Right, finally made it to the shop. Here we are with the side panel. Going to get one of the lads to scan it for me and get some paint mixed up in a jazz can. Brilliant. Okay, done. Brilliant. Snapped off bolt and a glued in fake screw. Oh yes, the rabbit hole deepens. Right, another one of my absolute pet hates with Lambretta is when people fit this shiny stainless stuff. Now the major problem with this is you cannot bend it and shape it to match the leg shields. So when people fit them and they screw the nuts up underneath, they completely disform the leg shields and you end up with a wavy leg shield. As it pulls up the leg shield up to the bolt, the next bit pulls up to the bolt and you end up with this wave. And I'll show you what it looks like on here. Right, I hope this comes out well on the camera, but as you can see there's a bolt here and the leg shield's been pulled up. There's a bolt here, the leg shield's been pulled up, and then it sags there, so you've got a gap there, then it pulls it up here with a big indentation, so it's just got this saggy leg shields. Now if you look over to the other side, you can see exactly what I've said, whereas everything is up and down like a big wave. The other thing they fit is these side flashes that goes down there. They have to drill holes in the bodywork, and then every time you want to work on them, you've got to take this crappy stainless steel strip off the side that drives me insane. I just want to smash them up with a hammer. Okay, little things like this dome nut under the floor trim. Obviously the floor trim will never be able to sit down properly because it's sitting on top of this dome. Is an indication that it was put together by a non-Lambretta man. In other words, probably a Vespa rider. of a conundrum. Not as simple as we thought. Because we've just unwrapped this cross member and discovered, as you can see, this section hasn't been cut away. So that means we've got to dress all that and cut it out, dress it all up. These holes on the end holes, are out of line. So that's a bit concerning. The others seem to line up correctly, but these ones should have been further to the end. It's a bit odd. And the other thing is that the little pin for your stand is not there. And they send you this. But it mounts onto a little plate, which they didn't send. So there's work to be done before we can even go any further with this. Okay, well, if there's any vintage Honda or Jap or Norton or Triumph riders out there watching the video, tell me, do you have to file, cut and grind every single bit you buy for your bike? Because that seems to be the way with Lambretta. Everything you get doesn't fit. And that is the rule of thumb. Buy it and then alter it so it actually fits. Yeah. It's a lot of grinding and cutting and messing around, but we're kind of getting there. We've got no lasers, no high-tech equipment. All we're going to use is spirit level and a vernier, whatever that is, it's here somewhere, and a tape measure. And we've got another chassis to take some measurements from. I've got no drawings, got no laser level, got no fancy equipment, just doing it old school. Right, we've got the chassis levelled up on the bench, so it's level on the bench. So now we're going to just make sure that it's square, because I've been working on it, so it may have moved. So take a measurement there, measurement on the other side. She's moved. Okay, so we're going to put a little shimmy. My shimmies, thin cutting disc. So we're just going to whiz that over a little bit, because what's happened is it's sunk into the top of my tin probably. Right, take another measurement. And now we're bang on. Okay, so now the bike is square and it's pretty much level. So now we're going to mount our, still hot from the weld. We're going to mount this on. I've got a line here at the position where it was, but we're going to be able to move it around. So I'm going to pop it on with some tie wraps, and then I'm going to adjust it around to get it more or less right, put a tack, and then we'll be taking measurements and tippy-tappy until we get it precise. So let's just pop it on. Right, in the end I've tried with the G-clamp, I've tried with all manner of things, and it was just impossible. So in the end I had to literally hold it in position by hand and tack it, and I've pretty well got it there. After got one tack on it, then I just adjusted it about, took some measurements, and then put my second tack. So I've got two tacks now. So now I'll take a measurement from here to the floor, the other side of the floor, so I know that the stanchions are square, across here as well, these positions, the square here as well, across there, and across there, and level on our spirit level as well. So all the measurements are now correct. But okay, well that's our top off welded on. Not too bad with a stick, not a MIG. Stick is always stronger. Whew. Well, as you can see, so far so good. We're not on the level as Don from Shed Tune, because Don is number one. City's fabrication, fantastic. He does all the work there. We can see who the main man is. Well done, Don. Might help if I plug the welder in. No, I'm not a welder, but it's a damn sight better than the last guy did. So there you go, some positional welding with a stick, vertical, not bad. Okay, it's the end of this show. I'm just going to have to put this back together on my own. I'm not going to make you suffer the whole episode of this rebuild, but a big shout out to Russ and Dom from Shed Tune. Love the sprint bike, coming on very nicely. Let's hope it runs well down the track. Fingers crossed.